This is a euro. It's the currency used by 19 of the 28, soon to be 27, member states of the EU as their currency, and it's administered by the European Central Bank. And the European Central Bank invited me to Sintra, Portugal, where I am now, to interview a bunch of PhD students, but not PhD students in science, well, atmospheric science like me, but PhD students in economics. And in replying to them, I had one question which I feel like a lot of you would also have. What's the European Central Bank? The European Central Bank is unlike a commercial bank. You can't take out a loan from it, for example, and its priorities are different from that of a commercial bank. It's not intended to make profit for private shareholders. Instead, its purpose is to maintain price stability and contribute to the overall financial stability of the system. Thank you, Pixel Girl. The ECB is the central bank for the 19 member states which have adopted the euro as their currency, and its main purpose is to maintain price stability. So, for example, making sure that the price of a Freddo doesn't change too much over time, in the medium term. How does the ECB do this? Well, through monetary policy, such as setting interest rates. And as well as this, the ECB issues banknotes to the 340 odd million people who live in the Eurozone, as well as supervising the banks in the Eurozone for their safety and soundness. I know what to do it. So I'm here in Sintra for the next couple of days talking to economists and talking to PhD students about what it's like to do a PhD in economics, what the European Central Bank does in a bit more detail, and what research is being talked about here. Now, I really don't know anything about economics, so I asked you guys for help on social media for questions I could ask, and you have sent in droves of them, and I'm going to do my best to try and get answers for at least some of them.
You're trying to make sure that the model is as simple as possible and the assumptions are as simple to understand as possible to make a particular point that you're trying to focus on. So one approach is to construct a very big model that people call, the kitchen sink approach. Incorporate every single feature of the economy, incorporate the shape of the factory, incorporate the mood of the people, incorporate it. But in reality, you want to make sure that everything is kept as parsimonious as possible.
So explain the most behaviour with the fewest axioms.
Given the particular point that you're trying to make.
So what you just saw was on Monday, which was the first day of the conference. Everyone was arriving, and I'm now in a suit because the conference itself proper is happening. Now yesterday what I did was interview a bunch of PhD students. So there's this poster competition that's happening for PhD students in economics, and I was interviewing a bunch of the people who are up for an award, and you have already hopefully seen that video come out on my channel. What I'm doing today is editing that video, but also trying to get more answers to your questions. So I asked you on social media for your questions about what to ask these students and what to ask these economists. And between editing, I'm going to be going out and experiencing the conference, seeing what it's like, and yeah, trying to get answers. So as part of this quest for answers, we, and that is me and Monica, who is desperately trying to stay out frame, are going over to where the conference is happening. So the office is over in the hotel here, which is this incredibly nice hotel, and the conference itself is happening over there, over this noise. And the conference itself is happening over there. So like other academic conferences, because remember this is hosted by the European Central Bank, but the thing about central banks is, as I understand now, they have a link between policy and research. So there's economic research going on, as well as sort of setting interest rates and financial policy and things like that. And so behind me, this is the poster session. So this is actually really why I'm here. This is for the PhD students who are at the conference are presenting their work, and there's a competition going on for the for a prize. So what's going to happen in a second is all of these super important academics and economists are going to come out and talk to the PhD students, like at any academic conference, in front of their posters. So basically, God, it's a bit intimidating. You know, it's funny, I can see the similarities with when I've given posters before. I've made vlogs about academic conferences. This feels exactly the same. The only thing that's missing from a scientific conference is the booze. There's always beer or wine at scientific conferences. Here, you've got PhD students who are asked to talk about and defend their work for people who are the literal experts, the people that set monetary policy all over the world. So it's a little bit intimidating. I was just chatting to some of them about how it's very flattering, but also scary to be doing this. And I completely remember that feeling. So I'm here with Rong, who I interviewed yesterday. You've been talking to a bunch of very important people, and I've got to say, with a very well-designed poster, I'll include a close-up. I think you've got the best poster here, the ones I've seen.
Thank you so much.
But what have the people been asking? What have the academics been asking you?
Like how it relates to monetary policy transmission and what's the meaning for central bank.
So they're asking you how they can do their jobs better based on your research?
Yeah, of course.
Which is going to affect like hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah.
Is that not scary?
It is quite scary.
Okay, that's good. At least you're not like, it's fine. You know, it's just everyday kind of thing. Okay, so all the participants are now going back into the session room. So like other academic conferences, they have sessions for like 2 hours, then a coffee break, and then session, then lunch, and that kind of structure. So this was just a brief little break for them and a chance for me to talk to them. So what you saw upstairs was basically a kind of boring conference suite, could have been anywhere. This, however, is the venue of the conference. It is a literal palace. So if you look behind me, the walls are absolutely gorgeous, the ceilings are tiled, and just through here there's an amazing courtyard. Like, it's gorgeous and sunny, and I mean, look at these things. I don't even know what they are, but they're pretty. Also, that was described to me, that up there was described as a small chapel. I'm not quite sure I agree. As I was discussing with them some bank stuff yesterday, the venue, the opulence of it, the security, kind of feel like I'm in a Bond film right now. This is, of all the like travel opportunities that YouTube's given me, this is definitely up there.
In models where you have to make assumptions and maybe you don't agree on the assumptions, and I don't know, is that not the case in other sciences, that researchers have different opinions?
Is economics a science?
Yes. Is that enough of an answer?
No.
No.
Now I am editing. So we recorded all these interviews yesterday. You might have even been seeing some footage from them interspersed throughout this video. And I have a day to put that together into an intelligent video about economics, which is so far going surprisingly smoothly. What I've done so far is code the interviews, which is to say I've written down all the timestamps of when things happen in the interviews, and then based on a script which I wrote yesterday, I'm basically slotting them in to the timeline, and then I'm going to be filming a bunch of stuff later to put between those edits. So most of today is going to be this video, I think, so I'm not going to have much of a chance to talk to people other than the break this morning. So heads down today. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to have a bit more of a chance to talk to people. As office views go though, that's not bad, is it? The weird sound of it.
Okay, 5:05 is fine, but at 5:37.
So it is much later, it is dark outside, and earlier we went out to shoot the last bits for this feature video, which I'm editing at the moment. We're shooting the bits to camera. A cat turned up at one point, which was very exciting. A cat turned up. Hello. Oh, okay. And also we had security called on us. That was fun. Right now, we just got the last set of comments from the bank. We sent a draft to them, a very rough draft that I've been editing today, and I've already folded in the new footage, and now what we're doing is taking action on their suggestions and getting this thing ready. It's about 10 o'clock now, so hopefully we won't be here for too much longer, a couple more hours, and we'll get something which can go out to the world on my channel tomorrow, which is exciting actually. I think this is going to be a good video.
So rationality in economics is something very different from rationality as non-economists will think about it. For a person outside of academic economics, rationality means acting in a reasonable way. When someone decides to steal something from a shop, maybe it's right in front of a police station. Maybe that's not a rational action because it's unreasonable. For an economist, rationality means behaving in the way in which the model will predict you behave. So if there is a model that explains why is it that you may end up stealing something, you're in fact behaving very rationally. So economists behave, agents behave rationally in models because we've defined rationality in this way.
So back here at the poster session, it's currently 8:30. One of the board members of the central bank basically wants to meet all the PhDs who are behind me, and there's going to be this big kind of like lots of photos and everything like that, so I'm here just to try and snatch a few things. I did notice that they have these very nice electronic poster boards which people have been displaying their work on. High tech until you get to the bottom. It's literally just a breeze block. What has been interesting and different to my academic experience at conferences is the people here, I don't think they're around anymore, the amount of media scrutiny these guys are under. I mean, they're up for like a prize for their posters, but the amount of media scrutiny and cameras everywhere, people filming them, as in people filming the people filming them. Like, there's layers of media interest that you'd never see in a normal conference. I don't envy the amount that they're having to go on camera and talk about their work and talk to these really important people. So. Yeah, I'd be intimidated as hell. In case I haven't mentioned it yet, this venue is absolutely gorgeous, and I've kind of just got used to it. This is now the new normal. Just, yeah, you know, fine, background.
Sure, my name is Jim Stock. I'm a professor in the Harvard Economics Department, and I work on a variety of different topics, including econometrics, macroeconomics, and environmental economics and climate change.
So that's an opportunity you don't get very often. So I recorded a bunch of stuff with Professor Stock to use in future videos, basically. There's stuff which I imagine I'm going to talk about, which I also was just interested in.
Sure, well, that's a terrific question. Well, the stranded asset problem is one if there's investments that have been made that then become less valuable or it's not possible to being used as a result of changing regulations. So, for example, in the United States, if there's investments that are made in new mining potential and then we make changes in regulations that make it impossible to get at those assets or use the value of those assets, and those become stranded and they lose their value. I think analysis of previous divestment campaigns suggests that the marginal value of divestment defined narrowly is fairly small. That is, if one entity chooses not to hold a particular asset, not to buy coal companies or have them in their portfolio, that's an opportunity for an investment by a hedge fund somewhere else because they might be able to buy them a little cheaper and then make more of a profit. So overall, in terms of the ability of the coal companies, for example, since we're talking about that, to get investment in them, I don't see that as having a big first round effect. One advantage of divestment campaigns is it raises awareness of some of these issues. So I think a broader awareness of the problems of climate change, a broader awareness of the need for us to move from fossil fuel to renewable resources to low CO2 alternatives, that's very important. It's possible that divestment campaigns contribute to that general awareness.
What's also happened is the video has been published. So the Young Economist video has gone out and it seems to have been very well received. Like, people seem to like it, lots of great feedback, people saying that, it's an interesting topic, which, obviously my audience isn't an economics-based audience, so that is a win as far as I'm concerned. So I'm now back here in what's like becoming the media hub for ECB people. And also, how gorgeous is this? It's the kitchen for the palace. Absolutely beautiful in here, and this is just the office for the day. I'm in this gorgeous room. Oh, step through the store, would you look at that? I mean, this absolutely beautiful corridor, and would you look over here? This is absolutely amazing looking courtyard. Like, it's hang on, what's through here? Let's have a look. That's just a casual reading room, small fireplace over here, nice understated ceiling, a little bit of art at the end. I picked the wrong PhD, guys. So we're now entering the final stages of the conference. There's the last sort of session that's happening at the moment with really important people, like the head of the Bank of Japan is on stage at the moment, along with the head of the European Central Bank. And just after that, they're going to announce the winner of this competition. All the PhDs have been entered in with their posters, and I am the person going up on stage to interview one of them live on the internet. No pressure. Their Twitter account only has like 400,000 people following it. Be fine. Well, that's going on a blooper reel of my career at some point. So we just did a live interview. I'm here with Michelle, who was the joint winner of the Young Economist Poster Prize. We just did a live interview where I maybe slightly missed the fact that there was a cue given. There wasn't a cue given. Yeah, what's my cue to begin? So you're going to go like wave a flag or something. And if the light is on, that camera's active, presumably. Hello, I'm Simon Clark, and I'm here in Sintra, Portugal, with the European Central Bank. And you, I mean, you've explained in other people's blogs, sorry, in other videos, like what you've done. I mean, how are you feeling, basically?
Very good. What about you?
I'm feeling a little bit embarrassed right now, a little bit stressed, but we were both just saying after the interview, it's nice now we've been here this entire time, pent up in the hotel and the conference, and now we can actually see a bit of Portugal, because it looks amazing out there.
Apparently.
So,
that's what they say.
So that's the plan for tomorrow. But yeah, I'm glad you won. I mean, represent some Oxford pride from me, but there you go. Currently walking home, but I've got my torch on because I was warned about snakes. Apparently there are snakes on this route home. Probably not poisonous, because it's only Portugal, but all the same, probably a good precaution. Okay, so it's Thursday. Now let me tell you how this days of the vlog was supposed to go. I was going to be coming to Sintra, the actual village of Sintra in Portugal, and see how beautiful it was. I'm in Sintra and the weather is absolutely awful. Ugh, it's raining again. This is pigging awful. What's the deal, Portugal? I wanted to try and make a video about how lovely your country is and how it's been really sunny the past couple of days when I've been stuck inside. I come here, I come to what is meant to be clear. Look at this view. Look how nice this would be if it was sunny. But no! If I wanted drizzle and a lingering sense of disappointment, I would have stayed in the UK. Obviously, I want to make the most of the situation. Like, yes, it's raining, but I'm in a gorgeous place. Problem is, I've given myself about 90 minutes. So for those of you who know Sintra, there's a beautiful palace which is like up on the hill. There isn't enough time to get there, look at it, and get back for my flight. So I've just kind of boned myself here, and now it's just stuck somewhere which is beautiful, which I can't see because of the rain. I can't see the best thing about it, which would be indoors. So I've taken shelter in this very rickety old train station, and I'm just going to wait out the rain and see how that goes. Okay, so the rain has abated just long enough to give me literally just a few minutes. I'm going to be in the old town just up here for about 5 minutes. It's still a bit grim and a bit British, but at least I'm going to get to see something and can show you something. They have a Wally wagon. Okay, so my 5 minutes here literally are up. I definitely need to come back. I want to see what's inside this building. I want to go out to the castle. Look, I haven't even showed you the castle. Look at this. Yeah, more time and more sun needed. Let's go home. Time to go to the airport. So I've just arrived back at Stansted, and I'm in that kind of delirious state. My phone's dead. I just want to go home. I'm tired. There is something, and I don't know what it is. I think it's a door shutting somewhere in the station, which is exactly the first 3 notes of All Star by Smash Mouth. Somewhat brighten the mood. You see? Told me the world is gonna roll me. Okay, enough of that nonsense. I made it back home, and I just wanted to round off this video by saying thank you so much to the ECB for inviting me to Portugal. I had a fantastic time. I apologise that I couldn't get more answers to your questions, but that was just the way that this conference worked. I hope that the answers you got were interesting. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it kind of communicated that it was this incredible experience that I had in Portugal. The palace was beautiful, the people I was working with were great. I think we got a really interesting video out, and hopefully you and I learned something a little bit about economics along the way. Thank you for watching. Thank you again to the ECB for inviting me. I loved working with you guys. And if you guys actually want to learn more about the research that was being discussed, I'll leave a link just below the like button to the abstracts, actually to the full papers that the PhD students submitted for this poster competition. So if you're interested in economics, check out the full papers, because the titles looked really interesting. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.